Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping back down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we think is going to happen next and all that wonderful stuff. So here we have XRP paired up with USDT on the BitGet spot exchange 1 hour time frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to review the most recent price action and kind of give you where my thoughts as to kind of where I think things are heading next. Now, as I get into it, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link is in the description below. We're going to keep this one nice and brief. We'll keep it to the point and hopefully give you everything you need to know in under 8 minutes. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about a move to the downside. Okay, we were talking about this area just down here, 66.598 to 67.582. We tapped into that with a low that happened over here, which was 67.500. Okay, so this actually marks it as complete right there, which is fantastic. So that's an overextension in the fifth wave movement, I think. We failed to hit the 1.618 at the 65.959. That is this area down here. So we don't have to worry about impulsions. We just have to think ABC structures. However, this does allow us to look at this thing as maybe a big Y wave potentially, or maybe I've got a miscalculation here, and that could lead us into a W, X, Y, X, and Z. So that's what I want to kind of reflect on today. I want to kind of see whether or not, because this is done down here. It doesn't really matter as to kind of this overstructure. What does matter to me is whether or not we've got a different structure inside here that still ends at the same point. Okay, and so that's kind of my main concern. My main concern is, have we finished the first 5 wave movement and are we expecting another one to come down here? So let me delete that for a second. Okay, so we have 5 waves here, haven't got a problem with that bit. This one is where I'm starting to think maybe we've got something slightly off and maybe we need to calculate this as 5 wave movement. And this is all because we went down deeper than 1.382 on the fib scale. So let's go ahead and check, right? So here we have our structures and we can see that 1.618 gets hit around here. Now it's possible that this is the turning point and I've just not really calculated it correctly. So we go 1, 2, kind of 3, 4, then 5 here. Now this in my mind is probably the most likely scenario. Let me check with our fibs on this scale right in here. And yeah, it comes up a little shorter than you'd expect, but not as deep as this. And so it makes me think that maybe this is an A, B, and C structure, like so. We then correct up without a problem right in here. That's all cool. And then we start another 5 wave count to the downside. That's why we ended up down here. Okay, and again, very similarly, we have our structure kind of mapping out quite nicely. We go into a wave 1, 2, 3, up for 4, down into 5. Okay, that allows us then to have another 5 wave drop. And I think that's really what's going to happen here during the FMOC. That then allows us to finish off a bigger W, X, and Y. Okay, and so it would look more like, let me find my fib scale, and we'll just throw that onto here. And yeah, we'll look to come down more towards the 60.670 to 63.231. Again, just in this little range here. Okay, and we'll just delete that off for a second. And it would be a big he says a big, if I can actually click it, there we go, W, X, and Y structure like this with an internal A, B, C structure in here, and basically that's a double zigzag pattern. Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because of the structure here was a bit odd, we went down deeper than 1.382, which would be strange to kind of think of that as C wave structure with an extension in its 5th wave movement. But this way, we'd actually end up with that structure kind of finishing off in a more reasonable and logical area. So I do think that was the mistake that I made there. Even though we hit our target range, that wasn't really up for debate. The only thing that's really up to debate was the internal workings of how we got there. And that does change then the output, because this is either going to be a place where we go really strong to the upside, or we have another move to the downside. And I think it's the move to the downside that we need to kind of be waiting for and expecting. So yeah, for now, it looks like we can still probably push up a little bit higher. The B wave would basically only invalidate if it went up higher than our A wave, so it have to go up higher than 75.154 for that to invalidate. I will go ahead and remove this white line. We don't need that one anymore. The 200 EMA is currently set up there at 72.428, so that's going to be resistance for us as well. We are in a pretty reasonable position on the 1 hour time frame, but the 4 hours looking for a move to the downside, and so therefore my expectation is that we move down. That would actually then finish off this nice correction to the downside and would actually fall very nicely and in line with my expectations from our rejection from our C wave highs down into our C wave lows, which we have marked out at 55.24 to 59.66. Again, this particular area is the area of previous resistance that could now turn into supply. So a move down here would actually be really reasonable. On the lower expectations, 60.97, and again, you can kind of see how that would play out quite nicely into that range. So all in all, I would say, yeah, I think we're kind of heading in the right direction. We kind of have the nice healthy correction here to kind of finish everything off. And then from here, we can start talking about a move back to the upside, where I think we will break higher than the high of 93.8 that we had the other day, or the other week, and we'll be looking to target out that $1 range. Okay, so that is coming in my opinion in the future, but before we can go up, we kind of have to go down. That's kind of where my mind is at on this one. Now, I could be wrong, of course. We know where the invalidations are, so anything higher than 75.154, it would essentially say that we're not to head down in this structure to move to the downside. So we know where things start to kind of break down and change. So other than that, I think everything is in a reasonable position. We are in a bearish structured state at the moment on our 1 hour time frame, so just bear that in mind as well. But yeah, I think that's kind of wrap everything up here for today, under 8 minutes. So if you found it useful and informative, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what you're waiting for, check it out, linked in the description below. And why not become a member at membership.𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗂𝒑𝒠𝒑.io. We are offering a 7-day free trial, so we can check out everything that we have to offer before fully committing. Why not go ahead and check that out as well, link in the description below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.